guys, in this video we are going to review the order of operations, and at the end of it you will be able to simplify expressions using those order of operations. Before we start evaluating, I do want to come over here to the side and I want you to write down these notes here. You might remember order of operations as please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Well, we're changing it up in high school, and instead of that we're going to use go execute my dear Aunt Sally. A little more violent, but the G will represent grouping symbols, and that's like your parentheses, square brackets, curly brackets, or even a division symbol, or a fraction bar rather, the big fraction bar. All right, the E still represents your exponents or your radicals. Radicals also are a grouping symbol if they have something in between them. The next one is multiplying and dividing. And remember, you will always do that from left to right. So you start at the left and you move to the right. So it might sometimes be dividing and then multiplying. It just depends. So remember, multiplying is dots or a number in front of a parentheses or a little x. And dividing is your division symbol or a fraction bar with just a number, not more than one. And then finally, the last piece is adding and subtracting, which also go from left to right, and then you have your plus or your minus. So it's important that you remember that those bottom two could happen in different orders. It might go adding, subtracting, but subtracting, adding. It just depends. So now let's scooch over and let's look at number 1. 3 plus 6 times 5. All right, so we look and we say, do we have any grouping symbols? Nope. Do we have any exponents? Nope. Do we have any multiplying or dividing? And that we do. So we're going to start with 6 times 5. 6 times 5 is 30, so we're going to do 3 plus 30. Then we don't have any more multiplying and dividing, so we go to adding and subtracting. So we have 3 plus 30, which gives us 33. Now let's look at number 2 again. Number 2. So writing down our steps. First we say, do we have any grouping symbols? We do not, so we cross it off. Do we have any exponents? We do not, so we cross it off. Now, do we have any multiplying and dividing? That we do. Start from the left. So starting from here, I see I have dividing right here. So I'm going to do that first. So I'm going to do 10 divided by 5 is 2. And bring everything down as is. Then I'm going to look, do I have any more multiplying and dividing? I do. So I'm going to do 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12, so I'm going to have 2 minus 12. Then I go back and I say, okay, do I have any more multiplying and dividing? I do not, so I cross it off. Do I have any adding and subtracting? I do, so 2 minus 12 is negative 10. You are always trying to get down to having one number left. So jumping around to number 3. So you're going to write them out again. So DEMDAS. So do I start with my grouping symbols? Do I have any grouping symbols? I do not. Do I have any exponents? I do not. Do I have any multiplying and dividing? That I do. So I start at the left, and every time I see one, I underline it. So I start here, and I say, okay, 6 times 3. So that is 18. Bring everything else down as is. Look again. Do I have any multiplying and dividing? I do. So now I'm going to do 21 divided by 3. So 18 plus 5 minus 7 is 21 divided by 3 is 7. Looking again, do I have any more multiplying and dividing? I do not. So I'm going to cross it off. And then I'm going to say, do I have any adding and subtracting? I do. So I'm going to do 18 plus 5, which is 23. minus 7. Then again, I have another adding and subtracting, so 23 minus 7 is 16. Make sure that you do everything from left to right, from here down. Let's look now at number 4. Once again, I'm going to write out my letters. So now, do I have any grouping symbols? Well, this time I do. 5 minus 3 is a grouping symbol. So 10 divided by 5 minus 3 is 2 times 4. Then I'm going to say, do I have any more grouping symbols? I do not. This now has become just a parentheses. In fact, I can even just take that parentheses out and just have 2 times 4 because I took care of the grouping symbols. So I can cross it off. Do I have any exponents? I do not. Do I have any multiplication and division? I do. Starting from the left, I see right here I have 10 divided by 2, which is 5. Bring down the times 4. Do I have any more multiplication and division? I do. So I do 5 times 4 and get 20. Then I'm down to one number, so I am done. There was no adding and subtracting there. Looking at number 5, once again, I write out my steps. Do I have any grouping symbols? I do. This is actually a grouping symbol in this case because there's a 10 plus 8 at the top. So I'm going to start with the 10 plus 8, which is 18, and then divided by 9. Now that division symbol is no longer a grouping symbol, so I can cross it off. Do I have any exponents? I do not, so I cross them off. Do I have a multiplication and division? I do. So we do 18 divided by 9, which is 2. Always remember that the division symbol can become a grouping symbol in the event that there's something more than one number on top and bottom. Jumping ahead to number 6, again, writing down my steps. Do I have any grouping symbols? Yes, I do. So when I go in here, I see I have a grouping symbol right there. You need to make sure you redo your order of operations within your grouping symbols. So I see that I have an exponent as well. So I'm going to do the exponent first. So 3 squared is 9 plus 2 minus 2. And I can do my grouping symbols at the same time since they are separated by subtraction. So then within this one, it's also my exponents again. So 36 minus 25. Then I look through, have I gotten rid of my grouping symbols? I have not. So I'm going to go through and do my grouping symbols. So 9 plus 2 is 11 minus 2 times 11. Looking through, do I have any more grouping symbols? I do not. My parentheses are now just for multiplication, so I can cross off my grouping symbols. I don't have any more exponents, so I can also cross off my exponents. But I see that I do have multiplication right here. 5 times 11 is 55. I still have multiplication in the 2 times 11. So I'm going to do 2 times 11. I get 22. And then I have finished my multiplication. So I will do my addition and subtraction, which gives me 33. You guys try and do 7, 8, and 9 on your own. You can see in number 7 that I started at the top. I started with my grouping symbols, and I got 3. Then I did the square to get 9. Then I multiplied to get 27. Then I multiplied again to get the 16, subtracted starting at the left, and then did my adding, making sure not to forget that negative out front. In number 8, the division bar was a grouping symbol, so I did the top and I did the bottom separately. So I got 42 over 6. Then I did the division to get 7, and then I did the adding to get 17. Number 9 is one of the trickier ones. I'm going to zoom in on this one real fast. So you want to start with the grouping symbols of 2 plus 3 to get 5. But then you need to do your exponent because it's the next thing in the list. Remember, it starts at grouping symbols, then goes to exponents, then multiplying and dividing, and then adding and subtracting. So since I start with the grouping symbols, then the next piece is the exponent. So I need to do that 5 squared to get 25. This is where students get confused. These parentheses are no longer representing grouping symbols, but are representing the fact that you need to multiply 5 times 25. But because we multiply and divide from left to right, we need to actually do the division of 15 divided by 5 first, and then we do the multiplication to get 75. So be sure to watch out for when your parentheses are no longer grouping symbols, but are actually multiplication instead. Tomorrow in class, we'll go over any questions that you have and a few more examples like these. So be sure to put in any questions that you have at the end of the video. I'll see you tomorrow.